The horizon beyond. As the tide of automation rises and the scaffolding of traditional labor begins to dissolve, humanity stands at a profound threshold. The horizon beyond is not merely technological, it is existential. What emerges is a landscape shaped by speculative futures, spiritual economies, and a redefinition of legacy and justice in a machine-dominated world. The contours of that future, drawing from deep research across sociology, philosophy, and emerging tech to ask, what kind of human will thrive in 2050? Speculative futures, post-work societies, and spiritual economies. The concept of a post-work society, where human labor is no longer central to survival, is no longer confined to science fiction. Scholars and futurists now seriously consider scenarios in which automation, AI, and robotics render most forms of manual and cognitive labor obsolete. In such societies, abundance is generated not through toil but through technological efficiency. Universal Basic Income (UBI), decentralized resource distribution, and algorithmic governance are proposed as scaffolds for this new world. Yet with the disappearance of work comes a spiritual vacuum. The absence of struggle threatens the very fabric of identity. Historically, labor has been a crucible for meaning, shaping character, community, and legacy. Without it, individuals may drift into existential ambiguity. In response, spiritual economies are emerging systems where value is measured not in productivity, but in emotional resonance, ethical contribution, and communal care. These economies prioritize ritual, reflection, and relational depth. They draw from ancient traditions, Buddhist sanghas, Sufi brotherhoods, indigenous kinship networks, and reimagine them for a digital age. In these speculative futures, fulfillment is not earned through labor but cultivated through presence, creativity, and service. By 2045, spiritual economies will coexist with techno-capitalist systems, offering alternative currencies based on emotional labor, mentorship, and ethical stewardship. Platforms will emerge that reward users for acts of compassion, wisdom sharing, and community building. Legacy, justice, and meaning in a machine world. As machines increasingly mediate decisions, from hiring to sentencing, the question of justice becomes urgent. Legal scholars argue that algorithmic systems, while efficient, lack the capacity for hesitation, interpretation, and moral nuance. Justice, in its deepest sense, requires ambiguity. It demands the slowness of deliberation, the empathy of context, and the courage to resist binary logic. Legacy, too, is being redefined. In a world where AI can replicate style, voice, and even personality, what does it mean to leave something behind? The answer may lie not in output, but in impact. Legacy becomes relationally measured by the lives touched, the wisdom transmitted, and the communities transformed. It is no longer about what we build, but how we are remembered. Meaning in this machine world is not found in efficiency but in rupture. It is the pause between algorithms, the human moment that resists optimization. It is the story that cannot be predicted, the gesture that defies logic. By 2050, justice systems will incorporate human-in-the-loop protocols to preserve interpretive integrity. Legacy platforms will archive not just achievements, but emotional footprints, letters, conversations, and acts of kindness, curated as living memorials. What kind of human will thrive in 2050? The human of 2050 will not be defined by strength, speed, or even intelligence. Machines will surpass us in all three. Instead, the thriving human will be emotionally intelligent, capable of deep empathy, relational nuance, and ethical discernment. Creatively adaptive, able to synthesize disparate ideas, imagine alternatives, and navigate ambiguity. Spiritually grounded, rooted in purpose beyond productivity, with rituals that nourish identity and community. Collaboratively resilient, skilled in mentorship, interdependence, and collective problem-solving. Narratively literate, able to craft and interpret stories that bind meaning to experience, resisting the flattening of algorithmic life. This human will not compete with machines, they will complement them. They will not fear obsolescence, they will redefine relevance. In the horizon beyond, the future belongs not to the optimized, but to the awakened. Education systems will pivot toward cultivating emotional, ethical, and narrative intelligence. The most valued professions will be those that foster meaning: storytellers, caregivers, mentors, and spiritual guides.